Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum, dear students. Welcome to Virtual University. I'm your course instructor for training and development, and today we are meeting for the 42nd lecture. The course is almost coming to a close, and we are also moving towards the final stages of the course contents. We were talking about special issues in training and development. Within that, we had discussed the legal issues के training and development की activities में organization की कोताही की वजह से या उनके unintentional किसी behavior की वजह से उनके ऊपर किस किस्म के legal actions लिए जा सकते हैं और उनको prevent करने के लिए क्या बातें ज़हन में रखनी चाहिए, क्या possibilities हो सकती हैं. Then we talked about cross-cultural preparation, in which we discussed that people have to go and work in different countries and different cultures. And for that, the training and development department of an organization has to play a pivotal role in preparing them and making them understand the cultures and traditions of different cultures of different countries. Then we were talking about diversity management. Diversity management is an important issue all over the globe. We had discussed various aspects of diversity management. In the previous session, we had discussed the major characteristics of a diversity management program which could lead to long-term success of that program. But we had discussed the major characteristics, the major guidelines. For example, we had said that top management should support the diversity program. Today we are going to take a look into the similar guidelines, but in a little bit of more detail, that for example, if top management should support, how can they provide support? What kind of actions should they take so that support is provided to these programs? So the key components of effective diversity programs, they first of all include top management support. The top management has to provide support. The top management has to involve itself into the program. The top management has to take initiative. So the first thing that the top management has to do is to make the business case for diversity. Now, this should not be presented as an initiative which is a welfare initiative or which is a voluntary initiative or which is something that is for the benefit of the employees or the people or the society, but it should be presented as a business case. What do you mean by business case? Business case that is a reasoning, a rational reasoning of a particular project, that what is the business going to gain out of it, what are the benefits that a business will get from this particular project. So diversity management program should be taken as a project which should be presented as a business case, and usually a business case is presented in a written, well-structured document, and sometimes it is also supported by a well-structured presentation. And in a business case, you actually you promote that whatever project you are undertaking, whatever initiative you are undertaking, that project is going to be beneficial for the organization. For example, if you say that installation of some kind of a software is going to improve the systems, well, basically that is the basic rationale, that installation of a software program, that is going to improve the systems. But what are we going to gain from improving the systems? So the business case of implementing a software program, the business case is that you say that by improving the performance of the system, customer satisfaction will be increased. Or let's say time taken for task processing, that would be reduced and that would save money. So that is the business case of implementing a new software in your organization. Similarly, diversity management should be presented as a business case, that this is how we are going to enlarge our customer base. This is the possible increase in revenues. This is the possible increase in market share. This is the possible increase in efficiency of the organization by making people participate. It is going to improve employee engagement, which is going to lead to better employee productivity. So there has to be some quantifiable and some qualitative measures to say that this program, this initiative is going to be beneficial for the business. And this is not just a welfare program, which is for women or for minority, and this is not to support them. This is basically to support the organization. This is basically to improve the working of the organization. So this is what the top management has to do. They have to promote it as a business case. Then another thing that the top management has to do is to include diversity as part of the business strategy and corporate goals. So the business case that you present, the project that you present to your organization, that should be included in the strategy of the organization. It should be taken as a corporate goal that to achieve this project, to complete this project, to work on this project, that is a corporate goal. The organization as a whole is going to work towards that, and this is one of the elements of our mission, one of the elements of our business strategy, one of the elements of our corporate goals. So that is what the top management has to do. Then the top management must participate in the diversity programs and encourage all managers to attend. So if there is not going to be physical participation on part of the top management and the top line managers, it means that the physical support is not there. It means that people are not going to see them promoting or participating in them. If the employees of the organization, they see that the top management is participating in these programs, this means that they are communicating that this is something important, this is something that we value, this is something that we need to do, and therefore we are there to participate in those programs by physically appearing there, by giving a seminar or by giving a lecture or a speech or an introduction or something which shows that the top management actually is participating. If you sit at the back, you make the business plan, you include it in your corporate strategy, but you do not appear in front of the organizational members, if you don't appear in front of the people of your organization, they will not know that it's you who's backing it up. They will not know that it's you who's supporting this program. So you need to be physically present, physically visible in order to make people realize that this is something that is taken as an important goal of the organization. Then you should form an executive management team that mirrors the diversity of the workforce. For example, if your organization has 40% female members, then this executive team should have, let's say if it is a team of 10 members, 4 of this team should be females. Or if you have 20% people from any ethnicity, or if 20% of the people are people of color, then your executive management team should have 2 members out of 10 members in that executive management team, so that it is shown that representation is given to people who are in minorities or who are from diverse backgrounds. So that is what the top management can do to support the diversity management programs. Then another aspect to manage diversity relates to recruitment and hiring. At the recruitment and hiring stage, you have to make sure that people from all kinds of backgrounds, first of all, they get the information that there are job positions available in your organization. So the process of disseminating information should be it should be structured in a way that should ensure that people from all kinds of background, they should get the information that there is a job position available. Then there are a number of firms which provide recruitment services, which provide services to locate candidates which are suitable for a job position. So you should ask those firms that while they are locating and identifying candidates, they should identify a wider array of candidates, which should involve people from various different backgrounds, and they should make sure that they are able to identify a diverse set of candidates so that those people are given the opportunity for being selected. Another thing that you can do is to enhance the interviewing, selection, and hiring skills of the managers. So while they are interviewing, while they are identifying talent, while they are identifying potential, they should be more skilled, they should be more expert in talking to people from diverse backgrounds, they should be more expert in communicating with, negotiating with people from diverse backgrounds. For example, if somebody comes to you who does not speak English in a very fluent manner, so you will not be able to assess that person's abilities very clearly because the number of things they are assessed orally. So a hiring manager, a recruitment manager should be able to identify कि इसके ये जो language barrier है जिसकी वजह से ये English ठीक तरह से नहीं बोल पा रहा, उसके beyond भी देखना है, उसके beyond भी उसकी skills को analyze करना है. So your staff which is responsible for hiring and interviewing people, these managers, they should be skilled and trained for identifying talent, identifying potential. And that should be done with a perspective, with a mindset that they should be able to see beyond the limitations of people rather than get stuck with the limitations that they see first of all. Then another thing that you can do in the recruitment and hiring process is expand college recruitment at historically minority colleges. ये specifically applicable developed countries में है जहाँ पे बहुत ज़्यादा diverse ethnicities के लोग रहते हैं. वहाँ पे ये होता है कि कुछ colleges, कुछ institutions जो हैं वो specifically किसी एक minority के लिए होते हैं, या ये कि वो एक particular minority उन colleges में ज़्यादा पाई जाती है. फॉर एग्जाम्पल अगर कोई एरिया ऐसा है जिसमें एक माइनॉरिटी जो है वो ज्यादा पॉपुलेशन है उनकी वहां पे, तो उस जगह पे उन कॉलेजेस में, उन इंस्टीट्यूशंस में उन लोगों की ज्यादा रिप्रेजेंटेशन होगी. तो आप ये कर सकते हैं कि आप उन इलाकों में, उन कॉलेजेस में, उन इंस्टीट्यूशंस में अपनी जो रिक्रूटमेंट एक्टिविटीज हैं उनको एक्सपैंड करें और आप स्पेसिफिकली उनको टारगेट करें और वहां से लोग लेकर आएं जो कि उन माइनॉरिटी से बिलोंग करते हैं और जहां पर ये लोग मेजॉरिटी में मौजूद हैं. So that is another thing that the organizations can do while they are recruiting people, so they can give more opportunities to people, they can expand their pool of candidates, and they can make their pool of candidates more diverse by doing these things, by asking firms to locate a diverse set of candidates, by having an expert team of managers who are interviewing and hiring people, and by locating people in colleges and institutions where minorities are dominant. Then another aspect of diversity management that is related to identifying and locating talent within your organization. So आपको पता है कि आपके पास जब एक तो रिक्रूटमेंट और सिलेक्शन से कैंडिडेट्स जब आ जाते हैं, उसके बाद आपने उनमें टैलेंट खुद तलाश करना है. आपने बिकॉज आपके पास वो लोग, वो ऑर्गेनाइजेशनल मेंबर्स एक बहुत लंबे अरसे तक रहेंगे, जो उनकी कैरेक्टरिस्टिक्स, जो उनका पोटेंशियल आपको हायरिंग या सिलेक्शन के वक्त नजर आया है, जरूरी नहीं है कि वो पोटेंशियल वहीं पे रहे, जरूरी नहीं है कि वो स्किल्स और क्वालिटीज वहीं पे रहें. लोग चेंज होते रहते हैं, लोग बेहतर हो सकते हैं, लोग अपनी एम्बिशंस खो भी सकते हैं. सो यू हैव टू कीप अ ट्रैक ऑफ द टैलेंट इन योर ऑर्गेनाइजेशन एंड यू हैव टू कीप identifying, you have to keep searching for the talent in your organization. So while you are doing that, you should keep in mind that diversity is an important aspect of the organization, and while you are locating talent, you should locate talent in diverse sets of the organization. So for that, what you should do, the first thing is to establish a mentoring process. If your organization will have an effective mentoring process, people from all kinds of background will have access to mentoring. And we have discussed mentoring in detail in some previous sessions. And I had said that research suggests that women who are provided with a mentor, who have a mentor in their organization, have more chances of getting promoted, they have better salaries, and they are a better contributor to the organization. So a mentoring process is very important. आपके लिए बहुत ज़रूरी है कि organization में सब organizational members को एक अच्छा mentoring staff जो है वो available हो. Mentoring के लिए आपकी organization में senior managers जो हैं वो ये activity में participate करना पसंद करें और वो लोगों को सपोर्ट करें कि वो अपने आप को डेवलप करें. और ये मेंटरिंग प्रोग्राम जो है वो आप इस तरह से डिज़ाइन करें, आप इस तरह से उसको स्ट्रक्चर करें कि हर तरह का एम्प्लॉय जो है फ्रॉम एनी काइंड ऑफ बैकग्राउंड शुड हैव एक्सेस टू दैट मेंटरिंग प्रोग्राम एंड दे शुड बी इन्वॉल्व इन दैट मेंटरिंग प्रोग्राम. Then you should define the company's global succession planning system to improve identification of talent. Succession planning is that when a manager leaves his position by retirement or by leaving the organization, your organization has a plan, has a system that the position can be replaced with a person from the lower level of the organization in an effective and efficient manner. So हम succession planning को अभी later on detail में discuss करेंगे, लेकिन diversity management के लिए ये ज़रूरी है कि आप जब succession planning करें, जब आप successors को identify करें, वो लोग जो कि आपके managers को replace करेंगे, जब आप उनको identify करें तो आप ये जहन में रखें कि आपने एक diverse pool of candidates को, आपने diverse promising managers को identify करना है. You are not going to restrict your identification. You are not going to restrict the candidates to a specific criteria, to a specific gender or a specific group. So you are going to involve all the members of the organization in the succession planning. Then you should improve the selection and development of managers and leaders to help ensure that they are capable of maximizing team performance. Your managers must be capable, your managers must have the ability to involve people. They should have the ability to involve people for maximizing team performance. So when you have to involve people, you have to involve people from all kinds of backgrounds. So your managers must be trained, your managers must be skilled to involve people from all kinds of backgrounds. So they should be trained for inclusion and diversity so that they can maximize team performance. Then you should ensure that all employees, especially women and minorities, have access to management, development, and leadership programs. So this is a very important aspect of managing diversity, that you should provide, you should make sure that the opportunity for developmental activities is not restricted to a particular group. Or if you need to keep an eye, you need to keep observing and monitoring that who are the people who are benefiting from leadership and management development programs. If only a specific group of your managers, they are benefiting from these programs, they are getting involved in these programs, they are getting training from these programs, and a certain group is getting neglected or ignored, that means that there is something wrong. There is something wrong with the system. So you need to identify what is wrong with the system, why a particular group is not being represented in these developmental activities. So you need to see what is wrong with your developmental programs, and you have to make sure that you provide inclusion, you provide opportunities to all members of the organization on an equal and fair basis. Then another dimension of having an effective diversity management program, that is related to providing employee support. Now, you know that when people are in some kind of a minority, or they have some disadvantage from the others, or they have some kind of a disability, they are at a disadvantage. So that means that they need some specific representation, they need some specific support, some special support, which can give them the edge, which can give them the support which is required to be equal and be equally representative in the functions of the organization. So what you can do is that you should form resource groups or employee network groups that include employees with common interests. So you should try to develop these resource groups or network groups of people from minorities. For example, you can have a group that that is a group of female members of your organization, or a group which belongs to a certain ethnicity, or a group which belongs to a specific religion, if those people are in minority in your organization. So you have to develop these kind of groups so that these people can get together, and because you know that there is power in numbers, so if these people, they remained dispersed all over the organization, they will have a lesser influence on the organization. So in order to provide them a better influence in the organization, a forum for voicing out their concerns, a forum for bringing out the problems that they are facing, you can develop these groups and ask members from minorities to take part in them. And then you can use these groups to provide you information with what they are not satisfied with what problems they are facing, and what issues are there that the management needs to understand so that they can be resolved for effective diversity management. Then you should celebrate cultural traditions, festivities, and holidays. So if there are various different occasions of a particular culture or of a particular religion, you should first of all be aware of that. आपको उसकी information होनी चाहिए, और फिर आपको ये कोशिश करनी चाहिए कि आप उनको अपनी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में सेलिब्रेट करें. फॉर एग्जांपल, अगर आपकी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में डिफरेंट मज़ाहिब के लोग हैं, तो उनके जो डिफरेंट ओकेजन्स हैं, फॉर एग्जांपल मुस्लिम्स की ईद है, क्रिश्चियंस की क्रिसमस है, हिंदूज की होली है, तो अगर आपकी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में ये बहुत सारी डिफरेंट रिलीजन्स के लोग मौजूद हैं, तो आपको ये कोशिश करनी चाहिए कि आप उनके कल्चरल और रिलीजियस ओकेजन्स को आप उनको एक्नॉलेज करें. ये ना हो कि ईद वाला दिन है और पता ही नहीं है कि किसी को कि ईद भी है और मुसलमानों की ईद होती भी है. सो अगर आपकी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में बहुत सारे मुसलमान हैं कहीं बाहर के मुल्क में, तो उस ऑर्गेनाइजेशन को ये समझना चाहिए कि आज इनकी ईद है, आज इनकी एक फेस्टिवल है, और उनको ये एक्नॉलेज करना चाहिए, और अगर हो सके तो उसको सेलिब्रेट करना चाहिए ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में एज अ फंक्शन, एज अ occasion of the organization, not just of Muslims. So this is a far-fetched statement. I know that this does not happen very easily. There may be very few organizations who would even acknowledge these kind of different cultural traditions. But if it happens, it would really have a very good effect on the members of the organization. It would lead to something that we really need these days, that we call tolerance. So it would add something, a bigger value, something that is important for, not for the organization, but also for the society, and also for global peace. So something like that would be really beneficial for the organization as well as for the society. Then another thing that the organization should do for effective diversity management in terms of providing employee support is that whatever kind of support facilities they have. For example, if they have a daycare center, or if they have flexi time facility, if they have elder care facility, that should be provided to all members of the organization without any discrimination. For example, in Pakistan, in some organizations, there is a discrimination that the medical facility will be provided to the wife of a person if he is a male. Whereas if a woman is working in the same organization and she is doing the same thing, she is contributing at the same position, she is getting the same salary, she will not, her husband is not going to get the same medical facility, which if a man was working in the same position, the medical facility would be provided to her wife. So now, why is that discrimination? There is only one reason, that one is woman and the other one is man. So discriminating that on the basis of gender, a facility on the basis of gender, that is not appropriate. So organizations should make sure that whatever support facilities they are providing, they should be available. For example, if there is a child care facility, then usually child care facility is provided to women of the organization. But if some male members of the organization, they also want to avail that facility, they also want to bring their children to the child care facility, that should be equally available for them. The opportunity should be given fairly and without any discrimination. So employee support, whatever kind of support your organization provides, that should be provided on an equal and fair basis, without any discrimination on the basis of any kind of background. And then another aspect of diversity management is overall ensuring fair treatment. So you should make sure that all aspects of the organizational processes, they ensure fair treatment. For that, you should conduct extensive diversity training. So unless you do not conduct diversity training, you do not make people aware of the behaviors and attitudes that can have an effect on people from different backgrounds, people are not going to learn what it means to behave in a diverse workforce, what it means to be interacting in a diverse workforce. So first of all, diversity training, which is an extensive diversity training, is essential to make sure that people treat each other in equal and fair manner. They do not discriminate each other on the basis of some difference, on the basis of some diverse background. Then you should implement an alternative dispute resolution process. So the only resort should not be that people can go and file a suit in the court. You should provide an alternate dispute resolution process, that you should have a committee in your organization, or a group in your organization, or a position in your organization to which a person can go and complain. And initially, if it is possible, the organization can resolve the dispute within the organization. So it should not be the only option for people who face some kind of discrimination, that they go to court and file a suit against the organization or against the person from which they got some kind of discrimination. There should be an alternate dispute resolution process in the organization, and people should have access to it in an equal and fair manner. Another thing that ensures equal and fair treatment is to include women and people from all minorities in all the human resource committees throughout the company. So human resource committees, which are responsible for recruitment, which are responsible for selection, for promotion, for performance appraisals, for raise in salaries, the decision-making committees, human resource committees of the organization, they must have representation of women as well as people from minorities if they are present in your organization. इसके बगैर decision-making positions में लोगों को inclusion दिए बगैर आप diversity manage नहीं कर सकते, क्योंकि जब decision-making में आप उन लोगों को involve नहीं करेंगे, वो आपके साथ शामिल नहीं होंगे, उनके concerns को वॉइस करने वाला इन जगहों पे कोई नहीं होगा तो आप अपनी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में डाइवर्सिटी को मैनेज नहीं कर सकते. सो at all the places where human resource decisions take place, representation must be given to people from all backgrounds. Then another dimension of effective diversity programs is holding managers accountable. आपको याद होगा कि हमने ये कहा था कि आप मैनेजर्स को रिवॉर्ड करें जो कि डाइवर्सिटी मैनेजमेंट प्रोग्राम्स में सक्सेसफुली काम कर रहे हैं. दैट इज नॉट इनफ. Rewarding is one aspect. You should hold them accountable. You should make them responsible that, well, if you're doing that, yes, there is a reward for that. But if you're not doing that, there is an accountability for that. Why are you not doing that? So it should not just be limited to rewarding good behavior. There should be an accountability of wrong behavior as well. So you should link managers' compensation to their success in meeting diversity goals and creating openness and inclusion in the workplace. So there should be some link of their compensation with their success in creating diversity, in managing diversity. So if they are being able to support people, if they are developing people from all kinds of backgrounds, if they are hiring people from all kinds of backgrounds, if they are making sure that the mix of the organization stays diverse and there's proper representation, then this should be rewarded. This should be linked with compensation. For example, part of your bonus or part of your pay will be determined by how successful are you in a diversity management program. Another thing that you can do is to use employee attitude or engagement surveys to track employees' attitudes regarding inclusion, fairness, opportunities for development, work-life balance, and perceptions of the company's culture. So you should use the attitude surveys. आप ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में सर्विस करवाते रहते हैं, जॉब सेटिस्फैक्शन के बारे में, ऑर्गेनाइजेशन से कमिटमेंट के बारे में, काम के साथ एंगेजमेंट के बारे में. तो आपको इन सर्वेज में इस तरह के क्वेश्चन जरूर इंक्लूड करने चाहिए जो कि आपको इस बारे में इंफॉर्मेशन प्रोवाइड करें कि लोग कैसा फील कर रहे हैं. क्या वो ये फील कर रहे हैं कि दे आर गिवन इक्वल एंड फेयर ट्रीटमेंट? डू दे फील दैट दे आर इंक्लूडेड इन ऑल प्रोसेसेस ऑफ द ऑर्गेनाइजेशन? डू दे फील डिस्क्रिमिनेटेड? इज देयर एनी डिससैटिस्फैक्शन? सो यू शुड इंक्लूड एलिमेंट्स ऑफ this dimension as well in these attitude and satisfaction surveys so that you find out what are the employees feeling, what are the members of different groups, how are they feeling in your organization. So you should use that as a tool to make managers responsible, to make managers accountable. कि भी देखें आपके यूनिट में, आपके डिवीजन में इतने सारे लोग ये कह रहे हैं कि वो फील करते हैं कि उनको इंक्लूड नहीं किया जा रहा या उनको मार्जिनलाइज किया जा रहा है. तो आप इन सर्विस के थ्रू उनको अकाउंटेबल ठहरा सकते हैं कि देखें आपकी यूनिट में ये प्रॉब्लम आ रहा है तो आप इस प्रॉब्लम को इसका कोई रेमेडी करें. देन अनदर एस्पेक्ट ऑफ डाइवर्सिटी मैनेजमेंट रिलेट्स टू एक्सटर्नल linkages, that relates to improving relationships with external stakeholders. So your diversity management programs, they should not only be limited to managing diversity within your organization by making your organizational members a diverse mix of people, but you also have to take it beyond your organizational limits, and you have to make sure that the other stakeholders of your organization, they are also given equal and fair treatment. They are also included on basis of merit. They are also included from all kinds of background. So what you need to do is that you should market your product. You should provide information about your product or services to people from all locations, from all kinds of backgrounds, and your product or service, the marketing strategy should not be restricted to a certain location or a certain mix of people. So you should be marketing your product to diverse communities, and when you will be marketing your product to the diverse communities, then your customer mix will be diverse, and that would lead to effective diversity management of your organization. Another thing that you need to do is to provide customer service in different languages. So if your customer base, it comprises of a mix of people who speak various different languages, and today, in these days, the businesses, they are global businesses, so your customer service must be provided in a number of languages. If you are a global organization, then your customer service must be provided in the major languages of the world. If you are operating in a particular location, then you should select the basic languages which are spoken in that geographical location and make sure that people get to understand and communicate with your customer service representatives in an easy and smooth manner. So your customer services, they should be provided in various different languages. So that is another diversity initiative. Another thing that you can do is to broaden the company's base of suppliers and vendors to include companies that are held by women and minorities. तो आप जो अपने suppliers identify करें, जो अपने vendors identify करें, उसमें भी ये make sure करें कि आपके जो vendors हैं वो उसमें representation है उन companies की जो कि which are owned by women or which are owned by minorities. So you should give an equal and fair opportunity to vendors and suppliers and should not discriminate them on the basis that this firm is held by a person from a minority or this firm is being held by a women leader or entrepreneur. So you should provide them representation. You should select vendors and suppliers who are owned by these minorities. And then you should provide community service and neighborhood grants to diverse communities and their members. So if you are, let's say, operating a scholarship program, then you should make sure you know that many organizations, they have welfare activities, they take part in community service. So if you are providing community service, you should make sure that the community service should be provided to people from all backgrounds. If you are providing scholarships, then people should be given opportunity on an equal and fair basis, and people from all kinds of backgrounds should have an opportunity to apply and achieve those scholarships. So these are the various different guidelines that you should follow to effectively manage diversity in your organization. To elaborate these guidelines, to make you understand them in a more clear manner, I would give you an example of an organization. Sodexo is a US-based organization which is a leading food and facilities management company in North America. They provide services in America, Canada, and Mexico. Sodexo, they are one of the leading companies which make sure that diversity is managed effectively in their organization, and they take a number of initiatives in order to make sure that diversity is managed effectively. So the first thing they do is that diversity is seen as important for the company to meet its business growth needs. So they believe that if they will not manage diversity effectively, they will not be able to grow their business effectively. In order to grow their business, they need to include everyone from the community, everyone from the society. So they have to include all kinds of customers, they have to include suppliers, they have to include employees, they have to include shareholders, all stakeholders. They need to be included to meet the company's growth needs. Then they believe that diversity and inclusion are the core elements of the business strategy. As we just discussed in the guidelines, you have to make diversity and inclusion as a part, an element of your business strategy. So in order to make diversity a core element of the business strategy, Sodexo defines their company objectives by including diversity in their company objectives. So some of their company objectives, they include understanding and living the business case of diversity, then creating and fostering a diverse work environment by developing management practices that drive hiring, promotion, and retention of talent. Another company objective is engaging in relationship management and customer service to attract and retain diverse customer and clients. And another thing is partnering with women and minority businesses to deliver food and facility management services. So these are the company objectives of the organization to manage diversity. They make it a business case which is lived every day. They create awareness about diversity and its management. They make diversity a part of their organizational culture and provide a positive environment, and by defining strategies and human resource practices at all levels of hiring, promotions, and retention of talent. Then they include diversity in their customer relationship management, in which they attract and retain customers and clients from different diverse backgrounds. And then they partner with women and minority-owned businesses to provide them with services and supplies. So these are all the objectives that they follow to manage diversity in their organization. So this was on the aspect of defining company objectives. From the dimension of training and development function of the organization, what they do is that they separate the education of equal employment opportunity and affirmative action programs and diversity training. They take it separately. Affirmative action or equal employment opportunity is something that you have to provide legally. So affirmative action or equal employment opportunity के refresher courses employees को हर 3 साल के बाद attend करने होते हैं. लेकिन उसके अलावा the executive management also takes part in getting skilled and trained about diversity management. So senior executives program that is offered to senior executives, which includes ongoing classroom training, and it is also reinforced by community involvement, sponsorship of employee groups, and mentoring of diverse employees. So जो organization के senior executives हैं वो diversity management की classroom training भी attend करते हैं, और उसके अलावा वो इन activities में भी participate करते हैं, उनकी जो diversity management की efforts हैं और उनकी जो diversity management की awareness है वो community service और sponsorship और mentoring की activities से भी reinforce की जाती हैं. ये तो executive level की बात आ गई. फिर manager level के ऊपर every manager has to take an 8 hours introductory course. 8 घंटे का उनको एक course attend करना होता है, which is called Spirit of Diversity. And इसके अलावा the organization offers 3 to 4 hour labs that includes topics such as cross-cultural communication, sexual orientation in the workplace, generations in the workplace, and gender in the workplace. So these 4 hours sessions or labs can be attended by any member of the organization who requires or who believes that he or she needs to get an awareness about an issue of diversity, जिसमें क्रॉस कल्चरल कम्युनिकेशन भी हो सकता है, जेंडर भी हो सकता है, जनरेशन्स भी हो सकता है. जनरेशन्स का मतलब आपका जो एज डिफरेंसेस हैं, डिफरेंट जनरेशन्स के जो लोग आपके ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में काम कर रहे हैं उनको समझने के लिए भी ये ट्रेनिंग एक्सरसाइज प्रोवाइड की जाती है इस ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में. Another thing that this organization does is that they have 6 employee network groups. For example, एक ग्रुप जो है वो उनका African American employees के लिए है, एक ग्रुप जो है वो है diversity and equality के ऊपर. So these are special network groups in which people can join and take part if they belong to a specific community. Then they offer a reward which is called Champions of Diversity, which is given to those managers who are successfully able to manage diversity in their units or divisions. But then they also include accountability. So every manager has a diversity scorecard. So a scorecard which only measures the diversity efforts of a manager, that is also employed. So it evaluates their success in recruitment, retention, promotion, and development of employees from diverse backgrounds. So the more a manager has been able to develop, retain, hire, and promote people from diverse backgrounds, the more he is rewarded, the more he is compensated. And the thing is that his performance is evaluated on this basis. So a portion of pay and a portion of bonuses, that is determined by their efforts in diversity initiatives. These efforts, they do not go unrewarded. This organization has seen many positive results, positive impact of these diversity efforts. They have found that a return of investment of $19 on an investment of $1, 19 to 1 का return on investment है इनकी mentoring और diversity management efforts के ऊपर. So they have found that it is a profitable, it is a beneficial activity, a beneficial program which leads to returns on investment. And they have also been awarded several new business contracts, and they have been able to retain clients from various different backgrounds, and that has also led as a successful business result. So इस एग्जाम्पल में आपने ये देखा है कि हमने जितनी गाइडलाइंस, जितने की एलिमेंट्स, कैरेक्टरिस्टिक्स डाइवर्सिटी मैनेजमेंट के डिस्कस किए थे, वो आपको इस एग्जाम्पल में सब नजर आ रहे हैं. पहले तो ये कि सोडेक्सो जो है वो अपने डाइवर्सिटी मैनेजमेंट प्रोग्राम को अपना एक बिजनेस का कोर एलिमेंट समझते हैं. वो ये समझते हैं कि इट विल लीड टू बिजनेस ग्रोथ. सो they define their company objectives by keeping diversity management as a core element of their business strategy. उसके बाद वो अपने ट्रेनिंग और डेवलपमेंट फंक्शन में डाइवर्सिटी ट्रेनिंग को एक इम्पॉर्टेंट प्लेस देते हैं. वो हर लेवल के ऊपर ट्रेनिंग करवा रहे हैं. दे ट्रेन मैनेजर्स, दे ट्रेन देयर एग्जीक्यूटिव टीम, and the management, the top level management, that also involves itself by showing up on these events, on these occasions. And then they separate diversity training from equal employment opportunity and affirmative action programs by making it clear that this is not something that is a legal requirement. This is something which is a business case. This is something which is beneficial for the business. Then they have these network groups, जिसकी हमने पहले बात की थी as a guideline के resource groups आप develop करें, network groups develop करें. So they have these resource groups as well. Then they reward managers by this champions for diversity reward. Then they also hold the managers accountable by having this diversity scorecard, जिसके ऊपर उनकी performance जो है diversity management पे evaluate होती है continuously. And then they also evaluate the effectiveness of their diversity programs by analyzing what are the returns that they are getting, by analyzing what are the benefits that they are getting by holding these programs, by employing these programs. So this is an example of an organization which is successfully managing diversity and which is employing the major characteristics and major guidelines of successful diversity management. And it shows that this is successful. It shows that it leads to business results. So today we have discussed key elements of an effective diversity management program, and we have seen in an example how these key elements are employed in an organization which shows that these key elements and characteristics of diversity management leads to successful business results. This topic of diversity management is concluded today. We have completed the discussion on this topic. In the next session, we will be talking about another special issue in training and development, which is melting the glass ceiling. And if time allows, we will also be discussing succession planning. So I hope that you have understood today's topic clearly. Until next time, Allah Hafiz.